Welcome to the Modern Husbands Podcast, where any combination of Dr. Bruce Ross, Christian Sherrill, and Brian Page host national experts who share winning ideas to manage money in the home as a team. For today's episode, Dr. Ross and I discuss with Christian his experiences and lessons learned during his first year as a father. Listeners will walk away with the real and fresh wisdom to help new and expectant fathers. As a recent empty nester, what Christian shared warmed my heart and made for a better day. A new or expectant father or not, you will enjoy this episode. Listeners, our co-host Christian Sherrill is a new father, and we are going to have a great conversation with him and talk to him about the lessons he's learned as a new father so far. I know it's unusual to have the co-hosts interviewing each other, but I can't wrap my mind around a better way to help people understand who are listeners that we're real people too. We're learning too, which is obviously one of the reasons that we do the podcast. We get to interview the nation's leading experts on this. But, for me, I'm super ecstatic about this because Christian is one of the most, conscientious, thoughtful, kind people that I know. And so I am looking forward to hearing his answers because they're clearly the things that he's thought deeply about. He's not a reactionary kind of person, and he's certainly not going to be a reactionary kind of parent. So with that said, Christian and Bruce, are you ready to get started?
Let's do
I'm
it.
so excited. Let's hear what a modern husband and a modern dad has to say.
That's right. Okay, Christian, so you recently became a dad. What has surprised you the most about fatherhood so far?
Yeah, first of all, thanks. Appreciate you having this kind of bonus, cool little just the guys conversation here. Yeah, feel honored to get to work with you guys, and yeah, like you said, we also like each other, so we can just have an open, honest conversation with people we admire and people we respect, and yeah, thank you. Most surprising for me, my daughter is 20 months as of the recording of this, so a little over a year and a half, and I mean there have been tons of surprises. I think what most surprised me is that the opposite of most of the advice that I got from even people I trust and admire is true. Like the advice that I very frequently got when my wife was pregnant was, oh yeah, fatherhood, parenthood, it's the most natural thing in the world. Like you're just gonna kind of slide right into it. No biggie. Like we're humans. This is what we're built to do. Nurture our loved ones, etc. And of course, I love nurturing and caring for and being there for my daughter, but it, it was a shock, to the system. Like there's no organic, natural sliding into fatherhood thing. Like it's a lot, and I'm sure
Who
fathers.
told you that? That is
Brian, it was you, right? Brian said this is the easiest thing in the world.
right.
Well, to be fair, the people who told me that, I was nervous. I
They were trying to make you feel better.
I think they were trying to make me feel better, but
Okay.
I took their advice to the bank, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I got this. I think it's just gonna, slide right into it, no biggie." Not that I wasn't, preparing myself and reading all the books and, giving all the foot rubs and all that, but yeah, it kind of set me up. That advice, or taking that advice seriously, set me up for, I think, a bigger shock than I maybe bargained for.
Well, Christian, as always, we really appreciate the honesty, but the vulnerability you have as well, right? I think that's also what makes you a great modern husband. So as you're considering all of this, what has been, you think, the biggest adjustment mentally, emotionally, or physically since becoming a parent?
I would say the physical adjustment has come first, and mostly because I'm the kind of person who really prioritizes you know, exercise and nutrition, and um, those two things have, really taken a back seat, because there's just so much that Chelsea and I uh, do, to take care of Georgia, and it doesn't leave as much, certainly as much, time and sort of free space to get those, 90-minute really kick-ass workouts in, or meal prepping for really dialed in meals throughout the week. So that physical adjustment to like a little bit less of a sort of athletic lifestyle, not to say that I've stopped working out or something, but it just hasn't been as big of a priority, and that I think has led to some mental and emotional changes too, like, being okay with, at the end of a week, if I haven't put in, hour upon hour of hard work in the gym or on the bike or whatever, being okay with that because the person I most care about in the world, got all my love and devotion for that week, you know, not only am I okay with that, like I'm happy that that's how I've now chosen to spend more of my time. Um, so, but that part isn't easy. Like I'm pretty critical of myself, and so I look in the mirror and I see the beginnings of the traditional dad bod. I'm like, oh man, not cool. But um,
Dude, you have a six pack. Stop
Yeah.
it.
I mean, maybe a one,
We
maybe
could
a one.
only do a calendar shoot with you, Christian.
Come on now. I'm not fishing for compliments here. Genuinely,
Yeah.
I
I
Put
know.
it in
We
the
know.
comments if you want a calendar, you know.
but so that's been a big change, and then um, I think the other emotional or mental adjustment has been um, like parenting, especially a young child, really forces you to be collaborative and communicative with your partner. And I'm generally, in most things, like with work stuff, I'm generally just sort of like grit my teeth and do the thing myself. And so this team sport of parenting, it didn't really come naturally to me, and so there are times when I really need help. Like I'm not I'm not getting through to Georgia. I'm not understanding the way that she communicates, because she doesn't have all of her words yet. And I really need help from Chelsea to kind of tag in. And it's taken me a while to um, you know swallow my pride and like ask for that help.
Mm.
But I also have learned that, that's a two-way street. Like there are moments when, my wife is a ER doctor and she's a toxicologist. So she is on call at the Poison Control Center. And so she has a very hectic calendar. And, sometimes it is, not possible for her to really be a present parent for a long stretch of time. And so she needs to tag me in, in those moments. So it's always like a give and take, but that team sport aspect of it is something that is kind of foreign to me, like how I normally operate. Maybe that's just me, but yeah, being okay with asking for help and getting help and working as a team. Um, that's something that's taken some work and adjustment.
Well, I appreciate you sharing that, Christian. I think it's an often overlooked area for a lot of new fathers, and getting over, I think, that pride, as you said, and asking for help um, is such valuable advice, really, for I think all new parents, but even just spouses, right?
Right.
So let's look on the other side. What's been your favorite part of becoming a dad so far?
Yeah, I mean, after the initial, um, I don't, my memories are a little bit blurry, especially the early days. But after the initial, like, do everything in your power to keep this tiny human alive phase, starting to see Georgia's personality come out, her little giggles and her smiles, um, the the random things that give her joy.
I love
Eh,
that.
that's been so much fun to observe and also so much fun to participate in too. Right now, she's in up climbing and dancing are the key activities of the day. So if she's climbing up on something, no matter how high or how dangerous, or if she is twirling around, bouncing around, dancing to whatever song, I'm getting in there with her, getting some twirls going. And so just, yeah, kind of seeing life through her eyes and finding um, an immense amount of joy from small things. It's been my favorite part.
That sounds like she's just as active as her father is.
Yeah, this kid does a major downward dog. I can't quite get into the contortions that she does, but yeah, it's adorable and it's very funny. She gets a chuckle out of herself too, which is something we something we have in common. Uh, don't take ourselves too seriously, you know.
So how has becoming parents now changed the dynamic between you and your wife?
Yeah, I mean, it has also been hard, like really difficult. Um, I think there are lots of times where um, communication is it's like a survival skill for new parents, or at least it has become a survival skill, excuse me, for us. And whether that is communicating that I need help with something or she needs help with something, or just like, hey, Georgia has her first uh, pediatric dentist appointment. Who's going to be able to make it, given when it's been scheduled and, you know, what do we need to do to make this a success for her? So yeah, that communicating about kind of longer term calendar needs has has definitely picked up. And again, that's not something that I am naturally very adept at. So that's taken a lot of work for me personally, and I'm really grateful for Chelsea because she has, she's been just really patient with me as I'm kind of learning these things and learning the importance of these things. Um, Again, I'm more apt to just kind of do something on my own um, than I am to reach out and collaborate on something. So, but that doesn't work, as um, to people parenting a young child. So um, that's been there's been definitely some growing pains and some challenges and some tense conversation. I don't think Chelsea will um, disagree with me that there have been some really tough um, tough times that have come along with that, but I really do see it as um, growing pains. Like it's part of the process of kind of getting our act together as a family.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you brought up the importance really of communication. And so now with hindsight being 2020, right? And even going, I mean, you're actively going through it right now. Uh, are there conversations or what conversations do you now realize couples should have before having children?
Yeah. One that I wish that we had more intentionally before, and it's not like we didn't have the conversation, but I don't think we spent enough time on it before having Georgia, was um, about outside help available to us. Um,
Hmm.
so my our family is kind of a bi-coastal situation. Like my parents are on the East Coast, Chelsea's parents are on the West Coast, and Georgia was born in New York City. We now live in San Francisco, so closer to her family. Um, but we weren't all that upfront about you know to whom are we going to turn when things get really hard,
Mm,
because inevitably they will, for help. Is it, Christian's mom? Is it Chelsea's mom? Is it Christian's brother who lives nearby? On whom are we going to lean when it gets really hard?
Mhm.
And do we have a support network who can step in those moments, family and friends? Um, I wish that we had talked that through more intentionally before. And I'm not qualified to give anybody advice on what to do preparing to be a parent, but I would, if I were you, if you're thinking about becoming a parent, um, basically do an audit of your support network. Where are they? Who are they? How likely are they to be able to, drop everything and come help you if you really need help? Because the stuff that you're going to go through as a parent is like, I'm losing my hair. Uh, it's harrowing, like crazy things can and do happen. And so, um, I hope for whoever is watching or listening this, that you have a really robust support network. But I I really think you should talk about who those people are, and how likely they are to come drop everything and help you before you think about it, because they might almost literally save your life and the life of your child, depending on what crazy things happen.
I mean, I think that's such great advice. I love the idea of having a support audit
Yeah,
as you're, getting ready for the pregnancy or for having the child to see who you can lean on, especially because you said those times are going to come up. Like there are going to be the challenges, there are going to be the struggles, like the times that you just feel overwhelmed.
yeah.
So, how have you, um, as a couple, as a team, handle the those overwhelming times, the stress, the sleep, or lack of sleep?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we take like a tag team approach. So to give you an example, on a weekend, right? We're really fortunate. We have Georgia in daycare during the week, but then on the weekend, riding
Mhm,
solo, taking care of Georgia. And my wife has a super demanding career. I have a super demanding career, and Saturday morning, one of us is going to get the opportunity to sleep in. Nice. Okay, so Christian's going to tag in uh, when Georgia wakes up, 6:30. Whenever we're lucky that she generally, knock on wood, sleeps through the night. Um, Pretty well. But anyway, so I tag in the morning. I hang out with Georgia, make sure she gets lots of reading and playtime and coloring and dancing and songs and all the rest. And of course, breakfast and snacks and uh, sustenance. Chelsea gets the opportunity to sleep in. She tags in, when she wakes up, it kind of takes on uh, lunchtime, putting down Georgia for her afternoon nap. And it's not like during that time I'm doing nothing or I'm like, you know, not around. But if I need to go grocery shopping or if I need to, take care of some emails for work or whatever, I can be like more half in, because I know that Chelsea is like running point for that time. Um, you know, Georgia takes a nap and we both take care of things that need getting done together around the house. Maybe we'll work out together and get a little team workout going. Georgia wakes up. Um, Depending on how each of us is feeling, hey, maybe Christian needs a nap because he's been up since 5 or 5:30 or whatever with the kiddo. So I'll go lay down and Chelsea's tagged in. Okay, Christian wakes up from his nap. I'm tagging back in. Chelsea's working on. We just tag in and out as much as we can and just try to listen to what the other needs, and how the other is feeling so that we can always at least have one person like 100% with Georgia. It'd be ideal if both of us were 100% with Georgia all the time, but that isn't our life, like our life demands different things. Like we have all these priorities we're trying to juggle. But yeah, the tag team approach is generally how we've been able to handle even like the really stressful stuff, and sleep deprivation. But again, we're really lucky with the support network that we have. If we are, both uh, completely burnt, we're lucky that Chelsea's family is quite nearby, probably 30 minutes away, and they are, again, I'm really fortunate. They're more than willing to come help us, and you know, in some cases, even like take Georgia off our hands for a little while, just so we can take a breath. Which I know that's a
That's
real that's a real privilege, that we have
yeah.
access to that support.
So speaking with all that, what's one thing you wish more men understood about supporting their wives, especially after childbirth?
Yeah, this is something that is still an area of growth, for me in particular. I never felt like I quite got the hang of exactly what my partner needed. Um, we had Chelsea had a particularly complicated childbirth too. So um, there are some complicating factors there. Um, I I guess for men who are listening or watching, I want you to know that your partner um, is going to love and appreciate and find you 1,000 times more attractive if you are um, present, caring, hands-on,
Hmm.
and um, and also I think unafraid to say I don't know, like I don't have the right answer here. I'm just going to do my very best to be there for you. Um, but if I do something wrong, if I make a misstep, if I overstep, um, I'm okay with being called out for it, and I will do my best to change it. Um, yeah, your partner is just gonna think you're you're like a superstar, for doing all of that, and maybe that's not fair. Like the bar that men have to clear as partners and as fathers is, I think, still, this is my own bias, but I think it's still way too low. Like
Hmm.
my coworker
Great.
earlier today was saying, like, he was out with his kid, and was just like helping the kid survive, feeding him lunch and, you know, spending time with him. And he had all these people coming up to him saying, "Oh, you are such a good dad." And it's like, no, like, no, I'm a dad. I'm here. Like my child is alive. Um, yeah, just the bar is so low for us. And that's one of the tricky things I think for men because, um, there's a whole like cottage industry of, influence like that whole manosphere thing that influencers who are telling you, yeah, no, actually the bar should be low for men. Like women are supposed to do all this stuff.
Mm.
That's BS. It's complete nonsense. And furthermore, in heterosexual relationships, sorry to get on a soapbox here, but in heterosexual relationships, men who not only clear that bar, but go way, way, way above and beyond that way too low bar, um, we're a lot happier. And our wives think we're, you know, the GOAT. Um, because
You
we
are the goat, Christian.
I I try my hardest, but, you know, we don't subscribe to that nonsense, definition of men as like, you know, me win bread, me, um, you know, woman cook, woman care child, me go. Like, and to men who are breadwinners and who go support their families, um, and protect their families in that way, absolutely no judgment of you. I admire you for doing that. But this whole idea of like forcing men to subscribe to this old, tired notion of, yeah, I gotta be, stoic. Um, Childcare stuff is just for my wife. That's women's work. You won't catch me with a vacuum cleaner. That's nonsense. It is so stupid and it's so counterproductive. And it makes us less happy. So anyway, I
Well,
will get off my soapbox now.
no, I'm really glad you brought that up, Christian, actually, because especially as a father to a daughter,
Yeah.
what kind of father do you hope she describes you as someday?
Um, the best listener she has ever known is how I would
I love
hope
that.
she describes me. I don't I've just been, browbeating people on my soapbox here, but I don't want to do that with my daughter. I want to be a listener first and a supportive ear, a supportive shoulder for whatever she goes through and the decisions she makes in her life. I want to be there for her, as like a sounding board and, cheering her on, um, every step of the way.
I'm curious to, as we kind of wrap up our interview, has there been any particular Modern Husband podcast episode or lesson that we've gone through in the podcasts that have really helped prepare you for fatherhood or that you've found yourself thinking about a lot?
Yeah. I mean, Ron Lieber's episode was really great.
Yeah.
The Crib Sheet, forgive me for forgetting her name, the author of Crib Sheet, came on uh, one of the episodes and was so helpful. And at the moment, we were dealing with a sleep regression with Georgia, and so this expert on child sleep and understanding how children learn to sleep and learn to fall asleep and stay asleep over the night was that was amazing timing for me, but like that's accessible to anybody who goes and listens to the Modern Husbands podcast. So I don't know if you meant it to be, but please, go listen to Modern Husbands. There's incredible experts throughout, who give tips in a really approachable way. And I am proud to have participated in some of the episodes as the kind of knucklehead millennial correspondent, for the podcast. And yeah, I hope folks will go go check it out. Incredible, incredible lessons to be learned throughout.
Well, that's why we do it, right?
Yeah, well, thanks for having me on our show, and it was fun to, I hope, impart some useful stuff for listeners who are new dads or are thinking of becoming parents. You've got this, but I will break the news to you that it will not be an organic, oh, it's the easiest thing in the world. You slide right into it. It's the most natural thing. I'm gonna call BS on that one.
So, Christian, as we like to end all of our podcasts, what's one message or what's one actionable item that you want to give for all of the new or expecting fathers that are listening to this episode? What do you want them to hear?
I would say if you're scared about the state of the world, as there is good reason to be, fatherhood is, and the way that you treat and listen to your child and your partner through the process is one of the most powerful steps you can take in your control to make the world a little better. And that means it's an awesome responsibility, but it's also an awesome opportunity. And so I'm grateful to have had that opportunity. And again, it's a responsibility. So I take it really seriously without hopefully taking myself too seriously. Um, but I want to encourage any man who is considering becoming a father to think of fatherhood as that. Um, it's almost as like a political tool. Not that I want to get into politics, but um, as a way to say to the world, actually, you know what? I think um, children, deserve this level of care. I think men can be um, really great fathers in new ways that maybe we haven't seen, traditionally or historically. Um, you can really take a stand for a more productive and positive future for not only your child but every kid. And that's a huge opportunity.
Be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss our next episode. Share this episode with your friends. It only takes a moment to forward it on in a text, but it makes a world of difference in building our community. Thanks to our co-host, our guest, and of course, to all of you for joining in today.